I was telling a friend this, and she just looked at me and she's like, have you ever heard of Brigid? And I'm like, no, who's that? I was a new pagan. And she was like, the Celtic goddess of fire and inspiration. It sounds to me like Brigid is kicking you in your ass. She goes, do you have these little bursts any other time of year? And I'm like, I mean, every now and then, like around full moons and stuff like that, but it's nothing like this. And that's when she said, you should look up Brigid. And so I did. I looked up Brigid, and it was, I just felt at home. Hey witches, welcome to Busy, Gritty, Inked and Witchy, a magical living podcast for the busy witch. I'm Morgan, eclectic witch of almost 25 years, Avalon priestess, and busy witch. Here we'll talk all things witchy, from current metaphysical happenings to my busy witch tips and tricks, and everything in the in-between. This podcast is my personal journey, filled with my knowledge, opinions, and unique way of looking at the world. Join me as I weave the magical and the mundane in every episode. Hey witches, welcome back to Busy, Gritty, Inked and Witchy. I'm Morgan, and today I am talking about how Imbolc is my New Year reset, okay? Now, I rarely set New Year's resolutions, okay? I'm going to get to that today. Why I don't set New Year's resolutions and what I do, but this episode, I'm going to talk about Imbolc, okay? But I'm not going to talk about Imbolc as far as like correspondences or what Imbolc is, okay? I did a Imbolc for the Busy Witch episode forever ago, so you can definitely go find that if you are here for just magical knowledge as far as correspondences, how to honor Imbolc, you know, what it is, and all that kind of stuff, okay? I've done that before. So over the years, Imbolc has become one of my main sabbats. I love talking about it. I love talking about Brigid, the goddess associated with Imbolc. And it is because of my relationship with Brigid that for me, Imbolc is one of my main sabbat celebrations throughout the year. I'm not a witch who celebrates all of the sabbats necessarily. Sometimes I will do some low-key stuff. But there are sabbats for me that just hold a little bit more power and transformational energy than other sabbats, okay? Imbolc is one of those. So today's episode, I'm going to talk about what Imbolc does for you, especially when Brigid gets involved, okay? So that's what we're doing today. Imbolc is my New Year reset, because it truly is, okay? So like I said at the very beginning, I rarely set New Year's resolutions. Usually around New Year's, it just doesn't feel right for me to hit that reset button on January 1st, okay? For me, I'm generally still recovering from the holidays. I've found the last few years that if I go to do anything for the holidays, I get sick. If we stay at home and just plan a low-key Christmas at home, like Christmas and Yule, I'm fine. But if we decide to go do anything around the holiday season, I get sick. I know that some of you can still hear my voice cracks. I'm still not 100% after the bronchitis / sinus infection / cold that we got right after Christmas this year. But yeah, so for me, I'm still recovering and resting. And it's just weird. It's like you're given Christmas and then all of a sudden it's New Year's and you're in this dark part of the year, but you're supposed to just hit the reset button because the calendar says so. Because the calendar that was created by some guy thousands of years ago is like, okay, January 1st reset. January 1st is the reset button. And I get it from a standpoint of like, oh, it's just a great, easy way to remember a date. Like, oh, I'm going to make New Year's resolutions and start on January 1st because then I know how far I've gone. But if that were the case, everyone would get married on January 1st too, or everyone would be born on January 1st. Like, everyone knows dates that are important to them. Okay, so you can technically hit the reset button any time of year. You can do that whenever you want to. You can do it with every new moon. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily hit the reset button on the exact same thing every new moon because then that means you're just not sticking to your intentions. So pick one and hit the reset button then. But if you just want to randomly hit the reset button of your life or of an intention or something on a Thursday afternoon, like by all means do it. Go with your energy. So for me, it's still dark as shit outside in January 1st. It's so hard to get motivated. One of my favorite things to do in the morning, I work out in the morning, just because it starts off my day. I set the fucking tone by working out in the morning. And one of my favorite things to do in Tucson, because of the Tucson weather, is to go take a walk. And I can't do that at 6 o'clock in the morning when I wake up in January. It's dark as shit outside. And I generally wake up around 6 a.m. So I have to adjust things. You know, you have to adjust things because it's still dark outside. It's still dark in the mornings. It gets darker in the evenings. So while yes, we're after Yule, and Yule is the longest night of the year, and it's the return of the sun, it's still dark as shit January 1st. I don't really get to start going out for walks at 6 a.m. until February, like mid-February, and that's here in Tucson. Most of you don't get to start doing it until after daylight savings time, which I believe is in March. We don't do that here in Arizona. So anyway, so it's really hard for me to just flip a switch of motivation on a date because the calendar told me to, okay? Plus, it's probably the Aquarian in me. I'm a rebel. Everyone else is like, oh, January 1st is the reset button. I'm like, fuck that. Like, if we're getting down, if I'm being honest with you, there's a little bit of rebelliousness in me when it comes to that as well, okay? So years ago, and we are talking when I lived in England, and I lived in England from 2002 to 2005, okay? I was telling a friend of mine about how around mid-December, okay, my brain starts going. My body's still resting, but my brain is coming up with ideas. Like, I don't sleep a lot starting in December, even though the nights say, hey, go to sleep. And I do, I relax a lot, but my brain seems to all of a sudden decide to go on drugs. It goes on crack, and it's firing. Okay. And it's just ideas. I just feel inspired. And it starts about mid-December. And I started noticing that my energy, I would start with these firing of ideas in about mid to late December. And in January, my brain, like my body didn't want to take the steps forward, but my brain did. It was like, all right, get this down on paper. You have this idea for a business, this idea in your personal life. This is an idea for your finances, and start to get this stuff down on paper. And that's what I would start doing in January. Then all of a sudden, come February, I would want to create an action plan. So now it was like, okay, I got all these great ideas out on paper. What do I want to tackle first, and how do I do that? Okay. And then come March, I was like full steam ahead. Like, now I want to take the actions. I feel rejuvenated. I've rested. This is what I want to do. Like, and this is how, like, I've already sat down and figured out what I want to do and how I'm going to do it. Now it's time to hit the go button. And I was telling a friend this, and she just looked at me and she's like, have you ever heard of Brigid? And I'm like, no, who's that? And because I was a new pagan. Okay, I was a new broom. And she was like, the Celtic goddess of fire and inspiration. She's like, it sounds to me like Brigid is kicking you in your ass. She goes, do you have these little bursts any other time of year? And I'm like, I mean, every now and then, like around full moons and stuff like that, but it's nothing like this. Like, this was, I think, the third year in a row that I had noticed this energetic pattern in my life. And that's when she said, you should look up Brigid. And so I did. I looked up Brigid. And oh my gosh, I just felt at home. The minute that I read about Brigid, her correspondences, who she was as, like a person, how she works with people and everything, I was like, I got the full body affirmation bumps. Like, when I started researching Brigid, I heard it was like this energetic, thank God she got the message, like that's what I felt like I heard. So from that point forward, Brigid became one of my main goddesses. And at the time, I was only working with Rhiannon. Rhiannon had come to me in a dream, and I had actually started on the Avalonian path at that point. The weird thing for me, just as like a little insight, when I had found Rhiannon, and then I found the Avalonian tradition, most of the information out there was based on the Sisterhood of Avalon, which is a group that was started here in America. And Brigid is not one of the goddesses. But because I had found Rhiannon had come to me in a dream, and then I had found the Avalonian tradition through Rhiannon's role in the Sisterhood of Avalon and that Avalonian tradition path. I believe I was a member of the Sisterhood of Avalon at this point, and I was trying to work the Wheel of the Year through the Sisterhood of Avalon, which has a very specific set of goddesses. And Rhiannon was really the only one that I really truly resonated with. And then all of a sudden, here it is. I start researching Brigid. She just feels at home. I put a little thing up to her on my altar. Immediately was received well by her. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm not part of the Avalonian tradition, because Brigid is one of my goddesses, and that's not part of the Sisterhood of Avalon. And just in more talking with my pagan friends at the time, they were like, you don't have to stick to that. You can do whatever you want. And that's really become a core. It's because of that discrepancy, I guess you would say, between the Sisterhood of Avalon goddesses that you're supposed to honor, and how only one of them resonated with me, and how Brigid was not one of these core goddesses, but I resonated with Brigid. It was there that the whole idea that I preach on my podcast and my Ink Spirit Coven everywhere is you're the power, you're the magic, but you can take what resonates with you and you can discard what doesn't resonate with you. That is where the entire core thing that I preach was born, was because of this. All right. So that's just a fun little fact there. So what I began saying, like once I kind of put up a little Brigid altar, started honoring her, and I recognized her and her energy and started honoring her. I then started phrasing it as Brigid kicks me in my ass every year at this time. Every year she kicks me in my ass. And it starts slowly towards the middle to end of December, gains momentum for inspirational ideas, but I never want to act on them. It's just like I'm just downloading. And then it's like I want to create an action plan, and then I want to move forward come spring, usually. Okay. So that's when I really started to look at the energetic flow of the Wheel of the Year as a whole. And it just made sense to me, like the whole energetic flow of the Wheel of the Year, in that whole flow. Imbolc is a time where you're starting to see the first signs of life after the harsh winter, after the cold, after the introspection. Okay, you've dived down inside of yourself, you've done some shadow working, and now you're ready. Now that you know more about yourself, you're ready to emerge in the world. You're not going to just go sprinting out from your hibernation. You got to have time to wake up. You got to have time to get acclimated. You got to have time to have this reawakening occur within you. So that's what Imbolc is. It is a slow emergence of energy, okay? You're still coming off of a silent, introspective, quiet, cozy Yule. You're still coming off of that energy. The sun is slowly returning to full power. Okay, it's still dark as shit in the morning. The sun still goes down early at night. It's not like Yule happened and all of a sudden, bam, sun comes up at 5:30 a.m. now. So this all caused the energy of this is a slow awakening. It is not it's January 1st, get off your ass right this second. and I never resonated with that. Okay. I think it also, for me personally, has to do with my birthday. My birthday is January 20th. Okay. So Christmas, you're indulging, you're spending time with family, you're being lazy. You're resting. Okay. And it's like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, 1 week apart. That's it. You're supposed to go from getting time off work, lounging with the family, eating cheese. There's so much cheese at Christmas, and sugar cookies and everything, and watching Christmas movies and being in this cozy thing, to all of a sudden I'm supposed to go 1 week later. I'm supposed to be go, 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 go. I have resolute, what? And for me, it was like, no. My birthday is right around the corner. My birthday's in 3 weeks. I'll just start that. I'll make goals for myself on my birthday. And like, this has always been me. So this was me before paganism, before I realized I was a witch and was introduced to all of that, So for me, I always just thought it was because my birthday was in January. And I was like, all right, I'll set new intentions for myself at my birthday. It's in January. That's when everybody else is hitting the reset button. I don't feel like doing it January 1st. I'll just do it at my birthday 3 weeks later. Well, January 20th is closer to Imbolc, which is February 1st, than it is January 1st. So there you go. I was even wired for Imbolc before I even knew I was wired for Imbolc. Okay, so Imbolc starts the night of February 1st and goes to the night of February 2nd. I know a lot of calendars just say it's February 2nd, but Imbolc is a fire festival. I don't know if it's actually a core fire festival, but it is a fire festival candle. You honor it through candles and fire. It is a way to carry the sun through the night, or carry that flame of life and inspiration through the night. So it starts at sundown on February 1st. Technically, like, this is how they honored it back in the day. They would light a fire at the night at sundown of February 1st, and they would stoke the fire and celebrate and be pagans and drink and be merry all throughout the whole fucking night until the sunrise, but then they would keep the flame going until sunset on February 2nd. So I think that's why a lot of calendars say that it is February 2nd, because the majority of the hours of the celebration is done on February 2nd. But it technically starts the night before. So if you think about in modern day times too, even Groundhog's Day is February 2nd. Yeah, and that's where we put a lot of stock into a weather predicting groundhog. If Punxsutawney Phil comes out, and I don't know what's what. If he sees his shadow, either we have 6 more weeks of winter or we don't. I don't pay attention. I just think it's funny that Groundhog's Day is February 2nd, and that is all about the emergence into the sun of a weather predicting animal. Yeah, they say we witches are weird with our with our customs and traditions, and yet we take weather advice from a groundhog here in America. So anyway, so as these stirrings begin, as your flame starts to stir within you, now you can think, what do I want to do this year? Okay, that's what Imbolc does. That's not what Imbolc is. That's the energy that Imbolc has. That is what Imbolc does for people. Okay? It lights that flame of inspiration and motivation within you, but it lights it. It doesn't light a candle and then you're all of a sudden like, bam, I'm ready to do this. You can be, but it lights the flame of inspiration and motivation. Okay? Imbolc is an awakening celebration. You light candles, you do candle magic and all of that to honor the light within the darkness. Okay, how else do you get light when it is dark outside? You have to light something, and back in the day it would be a fire. You would light a fire or a candle, okay? You just turn on your lights now, but in order to kind of go with the old ways and the old practices, candle magic is beautiful for Imbolc. Okay, lighting a fire in your fireplace, lighting a bonfire outside and celebrating with friends. By all means, though, now, we do not leave burning candles and burning fires unattended. You can burn down your house, so please don't do that. You could use electric ones if you want to leave them lit all night out of like symbolism for the night, okay? But what you're doing is you are taking that candle and it is representing your inner flame. So you're lighting it as a way of saying, okay, I'm going to start my inner flame going now. And that's what Imbolc is about, okay? You're lighting your flame of inspiration and motivation, okay? Brigid is the Celtic goddess of fire, inspiration, motivation, smith crafting, which is like blacksmithing, so forges as well. She's the Celtic goddess of healing, healing wells, healing fires, poetry, yeah, all kinds of stuff, okay? She's also thought to be a triple goddess. So she is thought to be maiden, mother, crone aspects all in one. All kinds of stuff. Brigid is very much Brigid can very much be an all-encompassing goddess for a lot of people. So these are the different ways you can honor her. These are the different ways you can interact with her. These are the different ways that you can begin a relationship with Brigid if you want one. Now, I'm going to get to it in a second, where you don't necessarily have to have I don't believe you have to have a relationship with Brigid in order to honor her, but we'll get to that in a second, okay? So Imbolc, the energy of Imbolc, what Imbolc has you do, which is light this fire of inspiration in you, okay? It's not necessarily a time to hustle, you know? It's a time to be inspired. It's a time to start opening yourself up to the energy around you, to the creative flow around you. It's time to start thinking about your goals of your year ahead and maybe create an action plan. But if you want to go a little bit more energetically with your year, if you want to flow with the year a little bit more, okay, then you can plant the seeds and move towards what you want to do, the action of doing your intentions. That would be more for Ostara, okay? So the energy for Imbolc is very much having that flame of inspiration lit within you, having that, like, you have the inspiration. What do you want to do with it? Okay, you want to do this and this and this, and you get all those things down on paper. And then you're like, all right, now I'm motivated to create, like, how am I going to do this? So then you create an action plan. And this isn't something like just done in a day. You can take some time. Again, Imbolc is a slow awakening, okay? So as we move from Imbolc to Ostara, which is about March 20th, this is when you're gaining momentum. You're still opening yourself to being inspired. What do you want to do with your life? What energies are flowing in so far this year? Because now we're probably in mid-February, mid to end of February. Like, what has already been shown to you this year, just while you were still listening and just being inspired? So take that in, create an action plan, and then come Ostara, the energy of Ostara is planting those seeds and actually taking the steps forward of this action plan that you have created at Imbolc or around Imbolc with Imbolc's energy, okay? But now, if it resonates with you, and please, I probably should have said a disclaimer at the beginning. If none of this resonates with you, and if you make New Year's resolutions every year and you stick to them, holy shit, more power to you. I love that. You know, I love that. So this is more for the people that feel a little energetically off January 1st. Setting New Year's resolutions just doesn't quite feel great, you know, but you feel like you have to do it. What I've done with my life is I prefer to be in tune with the energies around me and to infuse my everyday life with magic and to work with the energies around me. And this is after, I said that when my friend first introduced Brigid to me, or said, hey, you should research Brigid. That was about the third year I had noticed of this energetic flow within myself. So it starts with you figuring out your energetic flow. Where do you get bursts of energy? Where do you not? Where are you doing things performatively? Like, oh, I should be setting intentions or resolutions right now. Oh, I should be out under the full moon doing this. I should be doing this at the new moon. Where are you performing, but you don't really feel it? It's the best thing for you to do ever is to get in tune with yourself, your body, your energetic flow, your intuition. Like, that is the first thing that I preach when you are especially getting into witchcraft, is you have got to know your own energetic ebbs and flows. Okay. And then once you really learn that, that's when you can start applying it, or you can start to get into the rhythm of things around you and meshing your energy with the flow of energy around you. Okay. So this was all just based on what I had observed for going on 3 years. And then my friend told me about Brigid, and she felt it at home, and it was amazing. And this is just a practice now that I've been doing for 20 years, So that's kind of the energetics of Imbolc. That's what I wanted this episode to be, is what does Imbolc do for people? What are the energies that you can use or tap into? Like, not what Imbolc is, but what does Imbolc do within your life? Okay, Brigid, it can be a part of that too. I believe, and this is just having had a relationship with Brigid for over 20 years now, and understanding my relationship with Brigid, and her being one of my core goddesses, one of my matron goddesses. I tell everyone about Brigid, and I've never had anyone come back to me and say, I lit a candle for Brigid and she blew up my house. I've never had anybody tell me that. Okay. Brigid goes with the flow. Okay. Brigid was turned into Saint Brigid by the Christians when they were paving their way across the world, converting all the pagans to Christianity. They saw how many different pagans revered and honored Brigid. They saw that, and they said, we'll get more people to go over to Christianity if we take Brigid with us. So she's now Saint Brigid, and she's healing, and you honor her with fire. Yay, look, we have a Saint Brigid too. Don't you want to come be a Christian now? And she was so popular with pagans. She was so widely known. Her stories of healing, her stories of inspiration, she has so many of them too, that even the Christians took her on. Okay, so she knows how to go with the flow. She knows how to work with people from different belief paths. Okay, she understands working with people from different belief paths. So I have never had a person tell me that Brigid told them no. I have never had a person tell me like, oh, I lit a candle to Brigid and horrible things happened. The more people I tell about Brigid, and the more people who even just light a candle in her honor around Imbolc, she generally talks back to you. And she sends inspiration. That's how she talks to people, is she inspires you, or she heals as well. I would say I wouldn't go, if you don't have a relationship with Brigid, I wouldn't go immediately to healing. I wouldn't go, hey, Brigid, we don't know each other, but I kind of have this thing I need healed within me. Can you do that? Those are things you would more want to have a relationship with her, a relationship for a while before you start asking big things of her. But if you want to honor her by lighting a candle and then just saying, hey, I know you're the goddess of inspiration and motivation, and this is your time of year, I'm lighting a candle in your honor. I've had people tell me that they all of a sudden were inspired, whether it was a book that they wanted to write or an art piece they wanted to design or a part of their life they wanted to move into. Brigid knows how to work, or she does work with people from all different belief paths. She inspires all. So you can light a candle to her, see if she has anything inspirational for you, any plans or steps forward. Just open yourself up. That's something you can do on Imbolc, okay? If you didn't or don't set New Year's resolutions, so if you generally don't or you didn't this year, if you are feeling quote unquote behind, don't, okay? Maybe you are just more aligned with the energy that is flowing around you than a calendar. Okay, so just think of it that way. If you've never been a person to set New Year's resolutions, or you just didn't feel like it this year, maybe you're just more energetically aligned to the energy flowing around you. Okay, if this episode resonated with you and you are starting to feel the first flickering flames of Imbolc, because I know this episode's going to come out about 2.5 weeks before Imbolc. 20 years ago, when I owned my brick and mortar store, I created a workshop called Embracing the Flame. Okay, it was held in my brick and mortar store. I taught it. I kept the hard drive that had all of my workshops and all of my businessy stuff. I've kept it over the years. And a few years ago, I put that hard drive in and I found all of these gorgeous goodies. So I first taught it in the Ink Spirit Coven, the Embracing the Flame class. But now it is available on my website. It's only $9. Okay, you guys, the class is only $9. It's multiple videos. There's a workbook that goes along with it. But my Embracing the Flame class explores Imbolc, Brigid, and shows you how to set powerful intentions with Imbolc energy. Now, can this workshop be done, this class, it's self-paced. So can it be done anytime? Absolutely. You can apply the information that I give in the class. You can apply it to any new moon. You can apply it to any point in your life when you want to set an intention for your future. Okay. But the Embracing the Flame class is on my website. It is just $9. I will link it down in the show notes so that you can do it because it's an instant download. You get instant access to the videos as well as the workbook, and you can do it in your own time. It'll teach you about Imbolc, Brigid, and setting powerful intentions. Okay, so that's what I have for you all today. The Patreon bonus content are 4 areas where Brigid is currently kicking me in my ass this year. It's just a fun little bonus content episode, or like bonus content. They usually run about 10 to 12 minutes maybe. But that's what you get if you sign up for even just the bottom tier, which is $5 a month of my Patreon. You can find that at patreon.com/inkedgoddesscreations. You get the bonus content for all of the podcasts since I started my Patreon. You also get a shout out on my podcast. So I want to thank Michelle for being a new paid Patreon member. Thank you so much. So yeah, that's what I have for you all today. You'll have to let me know down in the comments. Do you work with Brigid? Is Imbolc even like on your radar? Do you do anything for Imbolc? All of that kind of stuff. I love reading y'all's comments. Especially, I usually get them mostly on YouTube for the videos. And then when I post the little sound bites on Instagram, those are the 2 places I generally hang out. The sound bite gets posted everywhere, but I'm not usually on a lot of the other platforms. It's usually just Instagram and YouTube. So let me know if this episode resonated with you. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff, whatever platform you are on, because it tells the algorithm that, hey, this content is really cool. We're going to send it out to more people that think or act or listen to things that you listen to. And it's just really great exposure for my little podcast because I don't do any kind of paid advertising. I don't have a huge production crew behind me. It is me talking into a microphone. My assistant helps just slight edits and stuff like that. So, the more that we, appease the algorithm gods, then the more people get to find out about Busy, Gritty, Inked, and Witchy. So thank you all for listening, for being here and giving me a platform to share my knowledge. And I will see you all next week. Bye.